everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we are going to be doing the commentary / analysis for episode 18 of Miraculous Ladybug season 4, Wishmaker. So, as some of you already know, yesterday I filmed a reaction that had some analysis at the end of it. However, I tried my best with the copyright. I put like a transparent image over the episode. I tried to have like a full face video for when I went on for like longer tangents talking about something that happened in the episode. Didn't seem to matter though. It really seemed to matter. It still got copyright claimed. So some of you, depending what country you live in or if you have a VPN, have been able to watch it. Some of you haven't. So this video is for the people who haven't watched the reaction. Honestly, if you've already seen the reaction, you don't need to watch this as well. I probably will say a few different things in this because I've had more time to think about it. I've watched the episode like 5 times by this point. But I am honestly kind of really sad that it got copyright claimed. I spent quite a while on it. I spent like the video is like an hour long. I spent quite a while filming it. I spent quite a few hours editing it because there was so much footage to get through. It took ages to export, it took ages to upload, and I left it as unlisted when it uploaded so I could check it looked okay once it uploaded. And it already got copyright claimed when it was unlisted, so yeah, hopefully I'm hoping the copyright claim will get cleared today and more of you will be able to see it. But if you've already watched the reaction, you don't need to watch this video, but hi if you've already seen the reaction and you want to watch this too, because I am gonna say some other things. Kit Kat is very needy this morning, apparently. So before I carry on with the video, as always, I'm about to spoil the entire episode for you, so if you haven't already seen it, I mean like, I think it might have been spoiled for you completely by now anyway, but if you haven't seen it, I'll leave some links down below to where you can go and watch it, but they will eventually all expire and you'll have to wait until it gets put on something like Netflix or Disney+. So am I 100% wearing what I did yesterday with the same hairstyle? Yes. Why? Because I thought I looked dead nice in yesterday's video, and I thought like wearing a Care Bear hoodie, hair like this really fit the theme of Wishmaker, but only a small portion of you got to see the video, so I was like, you know what, let's put it on again. So anyway, quick thoughts on the episode. I would give the episode a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was an amazing episode. It was both funny and also heartfelt, which are my kind of episodes. I don't enjoy episodes that are full of heartache and angst, but I like a bit more substance than them just being funny all the way through. So this episode, for me, for my personal tastes, because it's my opinion, please remember, if you don't agree that's fine, I'd like to know what you think at the end. But for me this was like a perfect balance between the funny stuff with Jagged and Mr. Banana, things like that, but also the more heartfelt stuff with what happened with Adrien and his future, what Marinette was going through as well, and then obviously Luka at the end. So I did really like it. I would say the only reason why it's not up at a 10, because it is a solid episode, is, and I said this in the reaction video yesterday, I was expecting some love square, probably Adrien. I wasn't holding out much hope for Adrien or Mary-Cat, and I wasn't so sure about LadyNoir, and as the episode went we didn't really get much LadyNoir. We got some like nice moments of trust between them, but no like romantic moments, you know what I'm saying? So I was expecting some Adrien, mainly because Alex's voice actor had gone on and said, if you like the love square, you'll really enjoy this episode, and obviously that was talking about Luka and him knowing about the love square now. I mean, presumably Luka has realised what's going on. He didn't say it, but like, if I was Luka in that moment, I'd be like, oh god. But I was expecting at least a small moment between them. And as the episode went, did they even really talk to each other? I mean, I guess they were both having a conversation with Luka together, but again, like I'm saying, Luka was there. There was no like solid Adrien moment. For example, like the boiler room scene in Guilt Trip. I love that scene, as we all know. I like literally bring it up every other video. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10. So let's start chronologically, and I didn't actually pick up on this in yesterday's reaction, but the episode starts off with them saying, Marinette, your class representative, will be handing out these leaflets or whatever to you. Like, finally! She's finally doing some class rep stuff. I think the last time she did class rep stuff, please correct me if I'm wrong, was probably in Darkblade in season 1, which I think was when she became the class rep. So she's finally coming through, and also in that scene there was a very small, very teeny tiny, very small Adrienette moment. Like, I'll just put the pictures on the screen. Adrien, okay, like it was a normal smile, nothing particularly special with the way he looked at Marinette, but the way Marinette looked at him. So cute. Loved it. I thought it was great. However, speaking of Adrien, I was looking through the comments yesterday. Like, he is, like, I feel like he is literally, like, full-on depressed at this point. Like, I'm not, like, exaggerating that. Like, yeah, okay, there's a difference between being sad, being upset, and, like, having depression. I understand. I have depression myself. There is a big difference between those two things. But, like I said, as someone with depression, I mean, I know he's not real, but I would be worried about him if I knew him in real life, you know what I mean? I mean, first of all, he feels useless in terms of Ladybug, like that line where he said, this isn't verbatim, but it was something like, oh, she doesn't really need me anymore because she keeps giving out Miraculouses. That just really hurt me to hear, like he's not wrong though, he's not wrong. And I know Ladybug isn't doing it because she doesn't trust him. We all know Ladybug's motivations, but he doesn't. So it was just really, it was upsetting to hear that's what he felt like. So he feels useless in that capacity when being Chat Noir is something he really loves. That's his creative outlet, like we saw in Lies. He comes home from a busy day of modelling, fencing, Mandarin, whatever else he's doing, and then he gets to be free when he comes home. That's his outlet, and now he's starting, I mean, I won't say he's starting to hate it. I think he still likes the freedom with it, but I think it's with what Ladybug and the trust is doing to him is making him dislike it. So he feels useless in that capacity, but then he also feels useless with his future. And I can 100% relate. When I was Adrien's age, not now, I don't relate anymore, but when I was his age, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it's a horrible thing to feel, especially when everyone around you, like all of my friends, they all knew what they wanted to do with their lives. And I was like, I don't know. So I can relate to him on that level. And whilst I can't relate on the other level with what Ladybug is doing inadvertently, because I know she's not doing it to hurt him, she's trying to do it to protect herself because of Chat Blanc. It was really difficult to hear that he literally thinks he's useless, you know? However, Plague, he was very sweet to Adrien. Like, even though Adrien was like literally considering giving up Chat Noir, which literally just broke my heart when I rewatched it last night, even though he's thinking of like giving it up, which I don't want to happen, Plague was like, oh, it's okay, we'll stay together and we'll open like this cheese shop or whatever. The fact that Plague wanted to stay with Adrien, I was just like, yeah. Even though Plague messes around a lot and he's silly and kind of goofy, I think his relationship with Adrien is lovely, and I wish they got more screen time. Like, I know we get a lot of Marinette and Tiki, and I don't really care about the other Kwamis in terms of their relationship with their holders, although it would be nice to maybe get a couple of Alia and Trick scenes. I love Adrien and Plague's relationship, and I wish they got more screen time together, further than Adrien just saying, oh, you eat too much cheese, let's transform. You know what I mean? So let's move on to the job fair, and Alex's hot takes. What? They were just so pointless. I get it was the point of the episode that he was essentially just being rude for no reason, but I was just a bit like, okay. Especially with Andre. Like, I mean, the Luka reasoning he gave for Luka's job, the stringed instrument creation, that wasn't really good either. But with Andre, I was like, it's more than just ice cream, it's about the experience of going to find him and then him giving you like, it's like a rhyme, isn't it, when he gives you like your ice cream flavour and explains like what each flavour means, stuff like that. So like, okay, like, however, I literally shouted in the reaction video yesterday at this part. But when, so Luka turned up and he made the ice cream for Marinette and Luka to share, Marinette was like, oh no, we're just buddies, as they said in the episode. Andre was like, oh, you can share them as friends, that's okay, doesn't mean anything then. And I was just like, could that maybe have been stated prior to this? Because I'm pretty sure it hasn't been stated prior to this. It's always been like, I'm pretty sure Tom and Sabine said like on one of their first dates they went to get ice cream from Andre. Like, could someone have told me? Because like, for the season 3 finale, seeing Luka and Marinette and Adrien and Kagami share ice cream, it like broke me for weeks. I couldn't stop thinking about it because I was like, they've shared ice cream now. that means they're going to be together forever. I don't know how seriously I should take this ice cream thing, but I've been taking it seriously since day one. But that ice cream stuff has been living rent-free in my head, and I've been worried about it. So now I am no longer worried about it, but now I am angry that no one told me this before, that you could share them as friends and the magic wouldn't work like that. Like, great. Just great. Okay, so now we have to talk about Luka. That violin solo first, when he was just showing it playing in the wind on Swan Island, I didn't know violins could do that. That was really cool. It was such a nice detail. But also Luka playing the violin both times was also beautiful. That was one of my expectations for this episode. I wanted something amazing with the violin, and I think they pulled it off, in my opinion. It was enough for me. Maybe it wasn't enough for you. Maybe if you really like violin stuff, it wasn't enough for you, but I absolutely loved it. And honestly, just in terms of Luka in general, I think this was a great episode for him. Like, Truth, there wasn't really much development going on in Truth because it was more about him and Marinette breaking up and him finding out who his dad was. And also Crocodile, it was more centered on Julika's developments and more of the development between Marinette and Luka, going from friends to exes to friends again. And I just thought it was great in this episode. And obviously the trailers, as we all found out last week, the trailers did give me the impression that they were back together, and I was worried, even though I would argue it's not in Luka's nature, but I was worried Luka was going to try and push a relationship on Marinette again, like the two of them together, Luka and Marinette. But he wasn't. He was really helpful in this episode in terms of Adrien. I mean, nothing really much happened, but you know, he was helpful. He was showing he wanted to help. It just, I mean, I've never hated Luka. I think a lot of you actually think I do hate Luka. I don't hate Luka. I hate Lukanette. I love Luka. I always have liked Luka. I just didn't want him to date Marinette. Firstly, just because I don't view them as like a boyfriend and girlfriend. I do kind of view them as brother and sister. To me, even when Luka, and I'm assuming at this point he is over Marinette, to me I feel like Luka is always going to love her, but more like a sister. Like, he's always going to want to protect her. Like Marinette said in the episode, Luka is one of her best friends. I feel like later on in the show, if Marinette and Adrien got together and for whatever reason they had an argument, they had a big falling out, I feel like Luka would really be there for her. He'd be really protective over her. That's kind of how I view them, and I didn't want them to get together in the first place because I knew, like I've always known, Marinette is in love with Adrien and she's not going to be able to get over it. And it was so sad to see the New York special. Whilst I was glad I got the validation when Marinette chased after Adrien in the car and said, "I love you," whilst I was glad for the validation that yeah, she definitely was still in love with him, I was like, okay, but that's unfair on Luka. I think he's great and he really deserves to be with someone who loves him a lot. And maybe one day that could be Zoe. Yes, no, I really like them together. I think they'd be a really cute ship. And just in general as well, Luka was so calm and understanding in this episode. I can't think of a better character in the whole show to know the identities of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Apart from Adrien and Marinette. Apart from those two, because obviously I want them to know so they can, you know, something can happen, some relationship development. I think Luka was probably the best option to know both, because if Alia knew both, I don't feel like she could hold it in. I feel like she'd have to tell someone that she knew both. I think one she could cope with, but if she knew both, and Alia I think would pretty much instantaneously work out all this love square nonsense. I don't think she could stop herself from telling someone, whether that was Marinette or Adrien or Nino or someone else entirely. I don't think she could stop herself just because of Alia's nature. Not that I'm saying like as an insult, like that's just who Alia is. I just don't think she could. But Luka is a lot calmer and more understanding than Alia in my opinion. No hate to Alia, I love Alia. But I can't think of anyone better to know both. I also just want to briefly talk about the concept of the Akuma in this episode, and don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it. I thought it was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed the Akuma. However, apart from the robot, this Akuma didn't really pose any threat to anyone. Obviously it would help reveal Ladybug and Chat Noir's identities if they got hit, so it did pose danger for them in that way. But just in general in the show, the Akuma usually poses a sufficient amount of danger for people in Paris. Oftentimes it's only like a certain group of people in Paris, like all the adults in the Bubbler and stuff like that, or in Senti Bubbler, all of Alia's family plus Marinette's. I get that. So it was a bit odd, like don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but it really seemed to cause no harm apart from to Ladybug and Chat Noir, which I guess was the goal, but everyone else seemed dead happy about it. Like the Santa Claus guy, he was well chuffed, Fire Captain well chuffed, Dino Huggy Man having the time of his life, Mr. Banana, and then Jagged Stone. Jagged Stone is an icon. It was just so natural and wonderful. It was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed those parts. I enjoyed all of it, to be fair, but yeah, it didn't really pose much of a threat to anyone apart from the identities, and even then they wouldn't have been harmed really, so yeah, it was a bit odd, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, so maybe I just shouldn't think about it too much. Also, again, back to Luka, he did an amazing job before he was even Viperion. He did an amazing job. He got Marinette to safety, he told Adrien to go and hide behind a tree because that's always effective. He got Marinette to safety, he told Adrien to go hide, and then he was trying to take down the robot on his own. Obviously he wasn't very successful until Ladybug and Cat Noir showed up, but like he was amazing in this episode. He was a hero in and out of costume. Like, I liked Luka before this episode, but if you didn't like Luka before, then please explain to me how you don't now if you still don't. He was absolutely amazing in this episode. I loved him so much. The cucumber scene, when you see it rolling down that street, iconic. The most iconic scene this season. Oh my god. I loved it. And then Chat Noir's reaction, he was just like, It was great. However, speaking of Chat Noir, we did get a kind of, in my opinion, like 2 LadyNoir moments, so I'll just fill the screen with one of them. I think I only really got screenshots of the first one because the second one was hard to capture because they kept moving around so much. But when they were on the street first fighting Wishmaker and Ladybug stopped doing her yo-yo and Chat Noir just pulled her to him and got his baton out and started doing whatever it's called. I don't know. It was really sweet and cute to see, and I also really liked the next part up on the roof where Ladybug was just kind of like manhandling Chat Noir. She had a yo-yo out, she was deflecting the stars, and then she was just kind of pulling him this way and that. It was just really sweet. You can see like Chat Noir does still trust Ladybug, even though he's unsure about her trust in him. It just really speaks to Adrien's loyalty and him as a person, to be honest. This episode just made me realise how bad I feel for him. Like, if Rocketeer didn't make me feel bad enough, Wishmaker is just making me feel so sad. Also, another thing, again I guess it's linked to the Akuma, the Lucky Charm in this episode, like, it was cute and all, it wasn't actually really used. It was given as a clue of what she needed to do, or rather what someone else needed to do, because it really wasn't up to her to do, it was just up to Luka to get the star to the guys who would turn into a Dino Huggy. But you know what I mean? I remember seeing a comment, I think it was after Senti Bubbler, because I pointed out the same thing there with the Lucky Charm. It did seem rather pointless just to capture the spider after the Bubbler Senti monster had been defeated. Yeah, it was really pointless in that episode as well, and someone said that the Lucky Charms this season don't seem as important as usual, like they don't seem to have that much of a significance in the battle, and for some of the episodes they are quite important, like with the ice skate in Mega Leech, that was quite important, and the tape in Crocodile and stuff like that. But this episode, it was kind of pointless. The only other times the Lucky Charm has been like this is when Master Fu was still in it, and it would give her a Lucky Charm to signify, hey, you need to go and see Master Fu because you need someone else's help, and Marinette would have to detransform to go and see him, but then she would get a new Lucky Charm when she did it again, which would actually serve a purpose. So yeah, the Lucky Charm in this episode, I would argue, was pretty useless. I don't know. I really liked the reason why Chat Noir gives up in fighting. Like, he pretty much just ignored Luka when Viperion was like, Chat Noir duck, and he was just like, you know what, no to that, I'm just gonna let this happen to me. But I love the reason is that he wanted to find out what his dream was. But the actual dream, I feel like it could have been hinting at Senti Monster stuff. Now, first of all, let's talk about the eyes on Gabriel and Emily, because a lot of you said their eyes were switched. I can't say I've ever noticed what colour their eyes were ever. However, I found a tweet from Thomas Astruc where he said in French, "It's of no importance." However, like everyone else watching this show, I have trust issues, so maybe he's lying. But I don't understand the reason why they would be switched if it's to do with Senti Monster. At first I just assumed it was an error, like an animation error or whatever. They just accidentally got mixed up, given them the wrong colour eyes. But he didn't say it was an error, he just said it was of no importance. Which I do find it odd, but I'm not really sure what it could mean in relation to Adrien being a Senti Monster. However, what Adrien says about his dream, whilst I feel that could be evidence pointing towards him being a Senti Monster, it could also be evidence of just what Adrien's upbringing was like. He doesn't ever seem like he's ever had that much autonomy. He's always done as he's told, which again could be Senti Monster evidence. I am very much in the camp in terms of the Senti Monster theory that I don't want Adrien to be a Senti Monster, but I also can't deny the evidence in the show that he might be a Senti Monster. So I'm gonna think on this more and maybe put out a short voiceover video next week about it. But yeah, I don't want him to be one, but I can't deny the evidence in the episode. However, Marinette's childhood dream, she was absolutely adorable. I would 100% wear that dress. Oh my. She was gorgeous. However, I do feel like Luka's reaction was quite tame to finding out both of their identities, and I was looking through the comments yesterday because I've kind of like had time to combine everything together since technically a day late, not my fault, but technically a day late. Luka does tend to hold things more inside. Even in truth, he didn't get outwardly that angry about anything really. So I get why he didn't have more of a reaction, but I don't know, something as monumental as that. Like, first of all, you've just found out the identities of the superheroes of Paris. Not only that, you found out that they are two of your best friends. Not only that, you dated one of them, and not only that, you know they're both in love with each other but for whatever reason can't be together, because obviously Luka doesn't really understand that quite yet. Like, that was a monumental discovery. And Luka just looked mildly traumatized by it. Like, there was this one look right after he found out who Adrien was. So he already knew who Marinette was, then he found out who Adrien was. The look on his face, I'm just gonna fill the screen with it. It looked like he just worked out the answers to everything. Like, we have this phrase in the UK, I don't know if other countries say it, if you're English speaking or if you have an equivalent in your language, where we always say, like, all things considered, I'm doing okay. And it always makes me laugh, like, oh, you've considered all the things, like all the things ever, like you've considered the cure for cancer and things like that, you really considered everything and decided you're okay. But like, it just made me laugh when I rewatched this last night and I was like, Luka has truly considered all of the things ever and has come to the conclusion that he is just thoroughly traumatized by two of his best friends who literally can't speak to each other. Like, I did find it funny, but I was just like, if I was the one saddled with this secret, I'd literally tear out my own hair. I couldn't keep it. No way, no way. However, now let's talk about the other reactions of the characters. So I know Ladybug didn't see Chat Noir's identity get revealed. She had her back turned, but Chat Noir was looking directly the same direction as Viperion. So why didn't we get to see his reaction to Ladybug being Marinette? That would have been lovely to see. However, Shadow Daddy's reaction, so the reaction to Adrien, his eyes, oh my god, his eyes, they were teeny tiny. And his reaction to Marinette, I just feel like before this point he maybe should have realised that if his son, like, he got somewhere in Optigami, he was using his son in Optigami to lure all of the known Miraculous holders to this fashion show or whatever, fashion award show I think, in order to like take them down so he could defeat Ladybug more easily. Like, if he worked out they were all in Adrien's class, surely that says to him, like, he's well aware Ladybug gives out the Miraculouses. So if he knows that, then like, why couldn't he determine that, hey, maybe Ladybug also knows all these people, maybe at the very least she goes to DuPont's and maybe is as well in the same class as your son. So now let's talk about Luka again, because we keep talking about him. It's like my third, fourth interjection about Luka. That little part at the end when everyone's back together after the Akuma attack and he obviously knows what's going on. And he says thank you to Adrien and Marinette, obviously saying thank you to Ladybug and Chat Noir, not that they know that's what Luka is doing, because they don't know he knows their identities. I just thought that was a really sweet moment. I'm really glad he said that to them. I just don't feel like for what Adrien and Marinette do, I just personally don't feel like thank you is enough. Also, I really want to know why Luka didn't tell Ladybug at the end. Everyone in the show hates liars, and I understand he wasn't doing it to be malicious, he was doing it to protect her because he cares about Marinette. It does make me wonder why he didn't tell her. I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, Ladybug is well aware Luka did the second chance because that last time he did the second chance, he told her what she needed to do. So she knows he's at least done the second chance once in order to get that information. So why didn't she question why he had to rewind if Ladybug and Cat Noir didn't get hit and their identities weren't revealed? Why didn't she question it? I did find that a bit odd, and I really want to know your thoughts on this because I want to make a video on it. And I've had some more thoughts now as well, but please tell me what you think. I want to know what you think about like the repercussions of Luka finding out. I definitely think Luka is going to have a more prominent role towards the end of this season. We actually haven't got that many episodes left after the end of episode 18. It's gone so quick. It never feels like it goes this quick, but this season's gone so quick. So I definitely think he's going to have a bigger role episode 19 onwards. Definitely think he's going to have a role in the finale somehow, not sure in what capacity because we don't know a great deal about the finale other than the synopsis, which doesn't mention Luka, but it also doesn't mention Alia, and I would assume she's going to have a big role because she obviously knows the identities as well. I think right now I'm thinking the repercussions are, first of all, it's going to be dangerous, very dangerous. I know we're missing a couple of episodes. We know for definite 5 and 9. I don't think Luka will get akumatized in them. And there are 15 and 16 that we know nothing about. Will Luka get akumatized in them? Maybe. Do I think it'll happen though? No, not really. I have my doubts. I think he's done with being akumatized this season, and hopefully in the show, because Luka doesn't have a charm. When he got akumatized, in truth, Ladybug didn't have that ability yet. So, yeah, this is extremely dangerous. More dangerous than Alia. Well, I don't know, because Alia, while she only knows one of their identities, also knows where the miracle box is, but Luka, again, to up the danger, he also knows who Chat Noir is. So, just a bit of fun danger all around for everyone in the show this season. Thomas Astruc said no one gets to have fun, including all of us. But do I think Luka would betray Marinette or Adrien? No, I think Luka's pretty trustworthy. I know some people have been like theorising that maybe Alia is evil and she's gonna reveal about Marinette. And I know some of you asked me to explore it and make a video on it, but I didn't really put much stock behind it, so I didn't do it because I don't particularly believe she is gonna betray them. Alia, I think, is trustworthy. I don't think she would ever do that. She knows how important this is after the events of Sentibulba, but she knows how important keeping this secret is because of what will happen if she doesn't. And even though the same thing hasn't happened to Luka, I think he's also well aware of what will happen if he reveals the secret. So I think he is trustworthy, but there is some danger involved because he doesn't have the charm. However, I do kind of wish he would have told Marinette because I feel like that would have brought a different dynamic if he knew. But I'm also kind of enjoying just thinking about Luka just being stood there watching Marinette and Adrien interact and him like dying on the inside because he knows, but he can't say anything, you know what I mean? Like, I would quite literally spontaneously combust, like, I wouldn't be able to handle it. However, one thing I am definitely hoping for is that he gives some support to Adrien, and I'm not talking in terms of getting him together with Marinette. Obviously, I'd love that, you know I would. But I think right now my priority for Adrien isn't really about romance. It's about him feeling okay, because I'm getting to the point where I am seriously worried about him. I hope he gives him support, and I don't necessarily think that support needs to start with Luka saying, hey, I know you're Chat Noir. I think it could happen without Luka having to say that. Just be them growing closer and Luka maybe just helping Adrien out, just talking things out with him, you know? I think that could really, really help. And obviously, maybe in the long run, Luka can help mend the love square and bring them together. I would love to see that, but I think the priority right now is just for Adrien. to be okay. With all of that being said, Luka / Hyperion was quite definitely the MVP of this episode. It couldn't be anyone else. However, special mentions to, first of all, Crocostone, Jagged Dial, whatever you want to call him. He was an icon. Also, special mention to I'm a Dino Huggy. He was an icon as well. And then Mr. Banana as a cucumber. Like, why did Ladybug have to even do the Miraculous Ladybug? He was having so much fun. He was so sad when it stopped. Like, yeah, there was just so many standout moments in this episode, both that were funny and both that were heartfelt. It was a really, really solid episode. I think this has been my favourite episode today. I just wished it hadn't been spoiled so much, but I still really enjoyed it. And trying not to let my enjoyment be dampened by spoilers. So 9.5 out of 10, like I said, and best line of the episode. I'm a Dino Huggy. It was so cute. I loved it so much. So with that being said, I'd love to know what you thought of the episode, particularly what you think the repercussions of Luka finding this out are, what you think could happen, whether really specific things that you think might happen in the show or just more general ideas. I will combine my ideas with your ideas and I'll make a video on it, probably for like Wednesday or something. And apparently a lot of you like seeing my face and having more deep dives into stuff, so I will find the time, hopefully, to film another face video and we can have a little discussion about it. I didn't realise you all missed seeing my face that much. So again, I am so sorry about yesterday's video. I'm really upset about it. I nearly cried last night actually about it because I worked so hard on it and I was so proud of it as well. I did all I could to make sure the copyright wouldn't affect it. The only thing I can think of doing is, if you still want to see the reaction, is I've still got all the video files, is that I can just go back through and delete the screen recording of the episode and you can literally just react. And you can literally just watch me react to it. You'll still be able to hear the sound of the video playing of the episode, so you could probably still work out where I am in the episode, or maybe I could just cut it down to its like best bits, like my best reaction, if you'd be interested in that. Maybe some of you, for everyone who didn't get to see it, because I know a lot of you were looking forward to it. I am so sorry about it. I guess this is probably going to be my first and last reaction. I had maybe planned not reacting to every episode, but maybe the more important episodes, like episode 9, episode 22, 25 and 26, the ones that we already know something's going to go down in them. So I think that was probably my first and last reaction, which is really sad because I really enjoyed doing it, and I didn't just put up a screen recording. I had like a transparent image over it so you couldn't even watch the episode properly. Like, yeah, it was sad, but I hope this video makes up for it. But I'm still sorry, and I'm sorry you had to wait an extra day for this one, but I'm gonna edit as fast as I can and get this one up. Like I said, I'd love to know what you thought about the episode, especially what you think the repercussions for Luka are going to be in terms of the show in general with the identities, and I will see you all next time. Bye!